Well, folks, I've got some great news. It looks like the heat wave finally broke. A little bit, at least. Because it's actually kind of chilly today. I hope it stays that way. Uh, Howdy. What's up? And I'm still so spectacularly spectacularly howdy. I'm still very, very happy with how much better the camera setup looks now. Yeah, it's mid 80s today instead of upper 90s, so it's good. You know, every step an improvement. Every little bit an improvement. Hey, you're gonna play games today, right? Right? No, we're not gonna play any games today. We'll probably play games tomorrow. Where's my other slipper? Where? There it is. The fucking cats, they run in here, they play with each other, they kick around my... There we go. My feet are cold. There we are. Howdy. I like your location in frame too. I don't know, it's pretty nice. Yeah, that's the rule of thirds, right? Where you split a scene down into thirds along each line, and you try to place the focus of things. And I'm right here in the upper right, uh, non-indrant, or whatever 9 drents would be. Hello! We've got a lot to talk about. I thought it would be nice if we just chilled out today and react Andy to a bunch of fun political stuff. And of course, by fun political stuff, what I actually mean is the horrifying decay of our society. Uh, you know, Mike from PA is now partnered with Jacobin. Is that true? Wow. Well, good for him. You know, I've said this before, but just by way of him being on the left, yeah, I will, Vermin. By way of him being on the left, I mean, in terms of policy prescriptions, I'm going to end up agreeing with like most of the stuff that Mike from PA says, you know? It's in the delivery and it's in those critical distinctions, you know? But like if you're going to focus on the broad strokes, we need better healthcare, you know, uh racial equity, that kind of stuff. All well and good. Um man, I feel like I've been so black-pilled on the left lately, you know? Um Like this thing, you know? You know the Gravel Institute on Twitter? This is not a call-out post, by the way. I don't have the energy. It's not. But, did you see their tweet? Joe Biden has bombed Somalia 3 times in the past 2 weeks. Um, they, I think 2 of those bombings were requested by the Somalian government. Oh, no, all 3. Yeah, I looked into I forgot if it was 2 or 3, but yeah, but, like, they were requested by the government. Because they were bombing a terrorist group, the Al-Shabaab group, and they're very bad. It's a bad group, you know? But it's like, but a lot of people wouldn't know that from looking at this, you know? I don't know. Again, this isn't a call-out post. It's just, I mean, I'm just gonna say, if you ever find an excuse to bomb another country, doing so against a terrorist group at the request of the government that operates that country is, I mean, that's probably one of the more defensible instances, right? I mean, you know? Um, have you seen Inside by Burnham? Yes, I finally saw Inside by Bo Burnbam. I finally did. I finally enjoyed that little bit of British pop culture. Can I just talk about it for a second? I'm gonna spoil it, but there's not really much of a narrative to spoil, so you know, I mean, even if you haven't seen it but want to, I don't think I can ruin the experience for you, you know? It would be like spoiling a nature documentary, you know? Like I can tell you what's happening in it, but it's not really going to ruin the experience. Um I really did enjoy it. The stand-up routine, no, Inside, the most recent special that came out on Netflix. And I thought it was interesting. I mean, it was pretty harrowing. I feel like in a lot of ways I'm in a similar position to him. If only because, you know, content creators and the existential struggle of trying to, you know, define yourself based on interactions that you have online when, you know, the real world slips away because of the pandemic and you just stay inside all the time and stuff like that. He probably got way more of the real world than I did because he actually did comedy tours. I mean, he flew around, right? So the contrast for him would be much more stark. For me, the pandemic didn't change my life that much, but yeah, there were um there were some songs in there that I really, really liked. You know, I mean, who here has seen Inside? Like, of those here, who here has actually seen it, you know? I just want to share some thoughts again, because there's not like a incredibly distinct narrative for me to talk about, but in terms of what I thought, I really liked the White Girl Instagram song. I like that quite a lot. The one thing that I really, really enjoyed about it was that the song was a little bit mean, but it kind of self-critiqued on that point because it was listing all these stereotypical like white woman Instagram things, and then one of the things towards the end was a really sincere, you know, my mother died a decade ago and I miss her and I remember her, and then and the screen pulled in for that, you know, or pulled out, I'm sorry, and we had like a almost a refrain from the song for like 30 seconds as he in a list of all these trivial white woman Instagram things. You know, you have this very sincere memory of a dead mom, and then it goes back towards like sort of half mocking all the trivialities. And I thought the point of that, if there was any point to it, which I suppose it's always up for interpretation, is that you can make fun of this stuff as much as you want, but there is real sincerity behind it, you know? And you have to temper the mockery with an understanding that there's always going to be a degree of triviality with stuff like that, and if you go too far with it, you risk treading on like real, meaningful human interactions. And chat, we good? We good, chat? Me, there we go. I think chat just had a little hiccup, maybe. Or maybe it's still having a hiccup. Oh, I'll continue anyway. I thought that was a really nice song. The Welcome to the Internet song was really cute. I'm super burned out on songs that are about how wacky the internet is, you know, because it feels like that's been done so many times. Uh, Songs about how the internet's super wacky and you can find anything here and it takes your attention and pulls it in 1,000 directions. I feel like I've seen a million little internet skits on it, but I enjoyed the Welcome to the Internet song. I thought it was cute. It didn't feel overdone to me. Obviously, the production value on all this was pretty great, considering it was being done, planned, and managed by one dude on the fly. I think somebody helped out with the sound who wasn't Bo Burnham, so the sound mixing was not entirely a product of his own design. But yeah, it looks like the chat's being a little bit, what would you call it? Fucky wucky. Um, wait, hold on. Whoa, chat's being weird. It's always something, isn't it? Well, I'll just turn it off then. Perfect. Now you can look at me, the best part. So that was fine. I enjoyed that quite a lot. I did like his little the bit with the suicidality, you know, where because he's constantly talking about or alluding to his suicidal tendencies, you know, which if you go online and talk with anyone, like this is fairly common to see. And he does a little PSA bit, like don't kill yourself, but then midway through the PSA, it cuts to the perspective of him watching himself. Like he's a depressive person watching himself try to deter him from being suicidal, and it comes off so utterly insincere. And I thought that was really funny because at the end of the day, you know, oftentimes if you're feeling really, really down, the comfort of people who don't really know about your personal situation can be super, super patronizing. I'm looking at YouTube chat now. You guys can't see it, but I can. YouTube chat, you know what I mean, right? Like, if you're feeling super down, man, sometimes people will try to comfort you, and the way in which they do it is just so, so alienating. And I think he really touched on that there with the bit like, don't kill yourself, somebody loves you. Well, maybe, I don't know. And don't, because I know people who killed themselves, and that really sucks. Like, it's very self-centered, and that's often how it comes off, you know? It's I mean, it's I mean, comforting a person or convincing them not to kill themselves is always going to be like, "Heh, that is a uphill battle rhetorically. But I did appreciate the fact that Bo Burnham was willing to simultaneously be honest about his own his own state of wellness or lack thereof, um, and to also be uh, sort of critical of the ways in which people superficially respond to it. Bo Burnham has been very publicly depressed for a while, and I imagine that it's infuriating for him to see his fans like come out with these platitudes to assist him. You know what I mean? I imagine that must be incredibly frustrating. Just 1 second, please. Um, hi, 1 sec. Chance of being weird. Can you see what's up? I'll respond soon. Sorry. I love you. There we go. Okay. Oh, wait, White Nevros is up. Oh, who's on it? Never mind. There you go. Problem will be fixed soon. Probably. What was I saying? So that was nice. Now, you guys remember the This Is How the World Works song? You remember this, right? This is the one that went viral on Twitter. It's that little bit where he's talking to the sock puppet, you know? And he's talking about how the world works, and the sock puppet is being capital W woke, and it's the little back and forth. I thought that bit was really interesting, because at many points during Bo Burnham's bit, not just in that segment, but the whole thing, he pointed out that what he's doing, his social commentary, is always going to be a little bit self-serving and narcissistic, but he wants to do it anyway. Remember, he was like, what can I do? Should I give my money away? No, This is what the world needs, another white guy with jokes, like that kind of thing. If your house is on fire, don't worry, call me and I'll tell you a joke, that thing, Which is funny, because I feel like, I resonate with that a little bit. We all make comments about how, like, white people say enough, blah, blah, and I'm white. And I disagree with the broader sentiment. I don't think that, like, because you're white or privileged, that your voice is inherently less worthwhile when it comes to issues of social justice. But as a broader pattern, it is definitely, something something worth commenting on. But when you get to that bit with Sacco and what have you, I feel like the sock was half satirical, A lot of people didn't seem to get that, but I definitely read that into the way it was written. Because on one hand, I agree with a lot of what Sacco said. The world being a system built on exploitation and the seizure of the means of production, which allows for the manipulation of the proletariat. Like, that's, obviously I agree with the broader statements. But then when Bo Burnham was like, so what can I do to help? And the way Sacco flipped out on him, why do you people always make this about some element of personal moral self-worth or something like that? Which is exactly the kind of preachy, gatekeepy type of behavior that keeps people out of social justice causes. Which I thought was kind of funny. And I see that shit a lot online. We all know the worst way to be an advocate for a position is to do this, like, Google activism. Don't ask me for my opinion. You can Google it. Like, horrible, horrible way of getting people onto your ideas. Just a terrible way of convincing people onto your side. It is so off-putting. And by the way, if you ask people to, like, Google the answers to a contentious social issue, do you think they're guaranteed to get a leftist answer at the top of the responses? Like, for example, don't ask me about trans issues. Do you know how exhausting it is to constantly have to repeat these answers? Go look it up. Google is a thing. And then they'll Google it. And yeah, what was that tweet? It's like, hello, my name's Dennis Prager. It's like, no! Google isn't your ally. It shows everything. Why would you defer to that as a source of activism? That's not always going to help you. Maybe if people are being obnoxious with baseline definitions, you can pull that out in them. But about broader social issues, no! You don't know that's going to work in your favor. So anyway, and Bo Burnham is smart enough to know that. So the fact that Sacco pulled that one out seems to me like a a sort of deliberate, underhanded criticism of the way that progressive people can have the right underlying ideas, and at the same time, they can still fall back on these self-assured platitudes that decrease the likelihood of them actually, you know, actually hitting it up. He has a song called "Kill Yourself." If you can skip through past 130, you can see it's from his past special. No, no, no. I'm not looking at anything from his. Absolutely not. Oh, the last stream got like 2 copyright claims. We're not. No, no, no. We're not trying. We're not trying any of that. That's all right. Yeah. So I liked all of that. I thought it was witty and self-aware, and I enjoyed it. And it was fun. It was cool, and it was, enjoyable and entertaining, and everything was very pretty to look at, and Oh, look at that. Just a moment. Like a phoenix from the ashes, the sight returns. Thank you. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Anyway, I enjoyed Inside quite a lot. I'm trying to think if there are any other distinct impressions that I was left with. Oh, the song about sexting, when the girl sends a picture of her tits and she's like, "Can I have a picture back?" And Bo Burnham's line in the song is, "When will I ever learn?" That was pretty funny. That was pretty funny. That was you know? Oh god. That's so if you've ever been a guy sexting or sexted a guy, then you know. If at any point you've ever done if you've been or in the relation of a guy, yeah, Jesus fucking Christ, I guess I never learned. Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like so relatable. Um, you know? Bo Burnham has said before he shouldn't comment on politics, and I feel like Sacco was another commentary on that. More of the personal alienation of internet activism than commenting on the real social issues at hand. Yeah, possibly. Though keep in mind, there is no group of people more online than the type of online leftist who will screech about like how the world is fucked and how we need change and how we need a revolution. But then if you ever try to press on them or ask them to like give you information or to be kind or to open themselves up to moving people over to the left, they get angry at you. Those are the most online people of all. So don't relate to them. Don't use them as a model for optimal behavior too much. So that's all fun and good. I think oh, also the Twitch commentary. I think you're missing the aspect that Sacco, while annoying as he is, Bo controls the narrative with his privilege and stomps out his voice when he protests. Yeah, and there is nuance to that, right? I mean, you can take it on the back and forth, that even if there are pernicious or difficult or alienating elements of the left, there is an underlying truth there that is ultimately not abided by systems of power, you know? And in a way, you can relate that little dynamic between Bo Burnham and Sacco to a ton of other interactions. I mean, in a way, you can almost look at it as an analog to what happened in the DNC with Bernie Sanders, you know? That there's a sort of limited tolerance for these progressive ideas that people will adopt superficially as a means of self-betterment. But if it ever goes beyond, like, self-help books and what can I do to save the environment, and turns into, like, a broader, immediate, and pernicious systemic critique, then it gets cracked down on. And ultimately, as annoying sometimes as the left is or can be, it's revealed to be just utterly dwarfed by the comparative power and privilege of the systems that they try to critique. There's a lot of layers to it. I like it. Anyway, I also like the Twitch commentary bit. That was cute. I disagree with your Sacco take a bit. I think it was a bit heavy-handed, specifically those rich white people make it about themselves, about the ones helping. You can watch it, but there are some things that Sacco like does that I think pretty evidently like a self-critique, you know? Between like the sort of foray into conspiracism instead of focusing on like meaningful real-world issues, and the fact that it like flipped out over nothing towards the end. Yeah, it's self-critique. The whole damn special was self-critique. All of it was self-critique. Very like at no point in that special was an argument presented and not self-criticized at all. That just didn't happen. I really liked. I mean, it was especially clear, I think, with the little Twitch React Andy segment where he reacted to a song that he did, but then he reacted to him reacting to the song he did, and then he reacted to him reacting to the song he did. And I appreciated that because, like, at the first point, he did the song and it was cute, and then when he reacted, he was like, "Oh, this song is pretentious and I only did it because, I want to feel cool. And then when he reacted to that reaction, he's like, "Oh, I I only said it was pretentious because I preemptively criticized myself so that other people can't criticize me beforehand." And like that kind of thing, I feel like you can do in a way. I think there's almost a healthy degree of self-skepticism that's made evident in that type of behavior, What about when he dabbed on Death Stranding? Best joke of the special. I liked Death Stranding, you know? I enjoyed Death Stranding. Also, the Problematic song. The Problematic song was pretty funny. Yeah, the Problematic song was pretty funny. Guys, the problem with Death Stranding is that it was too long, okay? That was the main problem, okay? I don't think it had the mechanical complexity to carry the size of that game, in my opinion, Donkey disagrees with you? Yeah, well, whatever. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Hey, Vosh, wanted to stop in your stream and say thank you. While I fundamentally disagree with your socioeconomic opinions, your debate/discussion with Charlie Kirk was what finally convinced me to get my first dose of the vax. Thank you for that. Oh, shit. Hey, thank you. Or you're welcome, or whatever the appropriate response is. That's very kind of you. Hopefully you don't get any, you get arm soreness. I got arm soreness, but hopefully you don't get the sniffles after the second one. Some people say the second one they get the sniffles or whatever, but it's a good decision. Thank you. Let me blow my nose. Got the sniffles. Yeah. Hey, Gally. I think the Problematic song was about people who want to be held accountable, but in a performative, martyristic way. Yeah, no, that's what I liked about it. Okay, the whole being held accountable thing is the most circle-jerky bullshit in the universe, okay? Holding people accountable. Can somebody explain to me what the fuck that means? No, for real. Can somebody tell me what being held accountable means? I really mean that. What the fuck does that actually mean? I have never known what that means. I genuinely do not know what that means. It seems like it's just a catch-all term that people use when there's somebody they don't like and they're still on the internet. But what does it mean? When has a person been held accountable? Is there a threshold? There's no answer for this. At what point does a person who hasn't been held accountable become held accountable? This is completely unfalsifiable. It's not empirical. It doesn't mean anything. I can tell you sort of intuitively when it feels like a person has gotten away with bad behavior. But what does it mean to be held accountable? I don't know what it means. And people talk about it. And sometimes, man, the way people will go on and on and on and on and on about how willing they are to self-criticize is fucking pathetic. It is so, so disgusting how willing they are to build social acumen off of their sort of performative submissiveness to an imagined crowd of people upset with them. And sometimes it's over shit nobody cares about, In the Bo Burnham show, the example was that he wore an Aladdin costume when he was super young. Who the fuck cares? But he knew that. Who the fuck cares? But you can imagine it in a way, can't you? Imagine a celebrity coming out and they put out like a 12-tweet thread. And the thread is like, when I was 17, I wore an Aladdin costume. At the time, I didn't realize that it was bad, but now I do. And I want you all to know I'm sorry. And like nobody, who asked? Who asked? Nobody cares. Nobody asked. Nobody cares. But you bring it up because you want everyone to clap for how much you've evolved, And then later in the song, Bo Burnham does it again, except to apologize for his deflection and hiding behind the fact that he was young when he held the Aladdin can. So it's like, it's an infinite cycle, That's why the Chad Vosh approach is the best one, okay? You say what you did, and you stop fucking going on about it, okay? Can you imagine if with my penchant for being canceled, I was as performatively self-aggrandizing as some of these people are? Oh my God. Every single time I talk, oh God. Sometimes it runs back into racism. Imagine if I had like talking with a black person, they just have like a political opinion, they want to talk to me, and I just say, "I'm so sorry for some of the earlier things that I've done. I at the time I didn't realize, and I want you to know that if you feel bad, you have every right." And it would have turned into that white liberal segment, remember? Remember I did that whole thing? It would have turned into that, but like unironically. Sometimes people, ugh. Ugh, ugh, ugh. God. Yeah. That line about wanting to burn the costume, but questioning if that's environmentally safe reminded me of your POV white guy segment. Yeah, yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. I liked it. I liked it a lot. Thank you, Pinso. God. All right. Okay. I've given my thoughts. I've given my thoughts. I'm not an art critic, you know. You should watch the new Suicide Squad. There is literally no way that it's worth my or anyone else's time. I'm sorry. How could it possibly be? It's actually good? Really? It's apparently good. Okay, before we get into anything like political, we have to do a little bit of rule breaking, okay? So, as a general rule, I try not to engage very much with Destiny on this stream because I think that his community latches onto and makes manifest and exacerbates any possible drama. And since I've stopped doing that, I think that the community generally has been healthier, happier, and more productive. But just for today, somebody DM me this clip, and I have to I have to I have to see it with you.
Do you have the bottle with the little metal ball that breaks up the powder? No. I bought 1,000 styrofoam cups and I bought 1,000 plastic spoons. Fuck ever mixing protein in an actual cup. Fuck that. Fuck blender bottles. Fuck blender balls. Fuck all that bullshit. Fuck all. Nobody. Ain't nobody ever gonna waste their time on that. Okay? I got 1,000. I got 1,000 goddamn styrofoam cups right here, baby.
Woo! Credit where credit's due. That is very funny. Oh man. Not paper cups, not plastic cups, fucking styrofoam cups. The ones that like make liquids taste worse and are like worse objectively than paper or but they're the worst for the environment. It's like maximizing. You think he would have gotten the styrofoam spoons if he could have found them? Oh man. That that's there are salient critiques to be made here, but honest to God, that is the funniest shit in the universe, dude. Sometimes I feel like I have become too accustomed to the bohemian lifestyle of a streamer when I like order my groceries from online instead of going there in person, and then I see I'm too lazy to wash a blender or a mixer cup, so I bought 1,000 styrofoam. Oh man, that is really fucking good. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We just I had to. Somebody send me that on Discord. It's too good. God. No memes. No linkers. All right, we're not linking today. Okay, we got a lot to go over. Ah! Not the least of which is this. Okay. I just saw this on Twitter the other day. Question of the day: was it a mistake to educate women? And the four greatest minds ever assembled We have Jesse Lee Peterson and people who associate with Jesse Lee Peterson. I haven't actually watched this. I watched the first like 10 seconds, okay?
I want to know, was it a big mistake to educate women?
Yeah.
So why was it a big mistake to educate women?
Because look at them. They're already like conceited.
Look at him! True! Fucking based. True. Yeah, true. Absolutely. Well,
And think that they know better without that stuff. And by the way, education is like geared towards girls now.
Yeah, it's
I don't know if it's meant to be like that.
It's a girl education, and it's weak.
They're accusing boys of having ADHD and stuff like that. And they're clamping down on fake bullying and all that mess. So they're turning boys into girls.
just a little bit of advice to this guy. If you're saying that the bullying isn't real, you shouldn't put fake bullying in the quotation marks because that implies that the bullying is real. You either want to say it's fake or you want to put the quotation marks around bullying, but you don't want to do both because that's like a double negative. Just a little bit of advice. Maybe if this guy paid attention in class.
Already.
So not only was it a mistake for women to vote, it was a mistake to let them be educated as well.
Right.
You say?
Yeah, it seems like it. Well, I noticed that women are like leading. They're like leading in education. Like the teachers, they're like really involved in that world. There seems to be through education allowing all sorts of just craziness. Like
Education becoming.
I actually really like the theming on this segment because all of them sound uneducated. You know what I mean? Like they're having a difficulty articulating their points. You know, it's really really funny. It's so this panel is like four guys talking about this. Is this what VDSers see when I was talking about critical race theory with Charlie Kirk, like two white guys? Like this is what they saw, you know?
Ridiculous now.
The globalists want women to be educated.
I know.
The
The-
globalists.
Mahalalala, that one girl,
Mahalalala.
she got shot in the face by some Muslim radicals.
Mahalalala.
She's like a 13-year-old Muslim girl. She's been 13 for like years. And she got shot in the face because she wanted to be educated. And those Nigerian schoolgirls.
Aren't they? They're they're not saying the word right, but they're talking about that like incredible civil rights activist, right? The one who fought tirelessly for women's education in what was it, Afghanistan? Malala Yousafzai. Yeah. She's gotten like incredible. Yeah, she fought against like the Taliban and stuff. I know if you guys were expecting some kind of like salient political point for me to debunk, I don't have one for you. All of these guys are fucking insane. Yeah, the youngest Nobel Prize laureate. She's 3 years younger than me, so she'd be 24 now, I guess. Known for human rights advocacy, especially the education of women and children in her native Swat Valley in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa in northwest Pakistan. Okay, not Afghanistan. Sorry, my education on this is a little bit spry. She's gone to the University of Oxford. She got shot in the head by the Taliban for wanting to go to school. Yeah, I guess they're like defending that.
Girls. Never mind that the boys were just massacred year after year.
the worst people know that if
What?
we just pump up the ego of the woman,
Wait, what? What? Wait, how do you in the story of a girl fighting for women's education make this about guy? Wait, what? Who's out there saying, "Yeah, dude, guys in Pakistan have it great"? What is this? What is this train of thought? Where are we?
we can turn society upside down.
Yeah. I do know that evil come up from hell through the woman. And Satan knows that, and all his children knows that now, and that's why they're pushing the woman. But-
Dude, how can you believe that and not be gay? I need to ask if if I ever see him again, you know, before he kicks it, because he's an old dude, you know. But like, why not just be gay? Seriously, Like, if you think that like the existential satanic evil arises from women, you know, why not just stick with guys? Why not just hit it up, you know? So is fucking a woman evil? Yeah, because wouldn't the evil like go up through your urethra? Right?
Love come through the man from above. Chris, was it a mistake to educate women in America?
Well, in one sense it was, but I mean it was done on purpose for nefarious reasons.
Ah.
It wasn't a mistake, but yeah, it's a massive mistake.
I noticed that everything the women get involved with, it turned to hell. And they act like the women are smart and equal. Women are not smart and they're not equal to men. It's just a reality. We have to bring back the order of God. That's the only thing that's going to work. The men got to take.
The thing that I really appreciate about Jesse Lee Peterson and the community that he cultivates is that this guy might actually be the farthest right person I've ever talked to by a long mile, but he comes off as so stupid and dawdling that it kind of goes under the radar a little bit. I can hardly understand what he's saying. Jesse Lee Peterson, in terms of his ideology, is functionally indistinguishable from a Nazi. He just happens to be a self-hating black guy, so it just kind of rolls into itself. But like unironically, I mean, in terms of everything that he believes, it might even be crazier. I'm pretty sure the Nazis didn't believe that the existential concept of evil came from women. Did they believe that? They didn't believe that, I don't think. They had some like patronizing, like arbiters of morality type shit going on, the Nazis with women, right? They thought women were like these pure, at least Aryan women, right? Whatever. Anyway, it's funny shit. Yeah, they thought they were second class. I'm not saying they treated women well. I'm just saying they thought like, you know, it's different. I kind of assume Hitler just sounded and spoke like JLP. That is an amazing. Can you imagine if that's how they had done it in Jojo Rabbit? If they were because in Jojo Rabbit they didn't play Hitler like Hitler at all. It was just like a guy with a mustache, you know. It was just like, I want to make the fatherland great, you know, like that, and like all of his speeches. That'd be amazing. That would be amazing. It was the director. Yeah. The director of Jojo Rabbit. What was his name again? He said that he had no respect for Hitler, so he didn't bother researching anything about Hitler before playing him. Taika Waititi? Yeah, so he said he didn't bother researching anything about Hitler before playing him. He just knew about the mustache and that's it. And honestly, Baze, who cares? I've said this before. Taika, sorry, Taika, thank you. I've said this before, but I think Jojo Rabbit was about as good of a treatment of Nazis as you're going to get. One of the things you have to remember is that Nazis get off. The only way they can come is by imagining themselves as like this evil, unstoppable Iron Legion of powerful, wide-shouldered, thick-necked soldiers, you know? This is, in reality, the Wehrmacht and the Nazi government and all of it was poorly coordinated and largely staffed by degenerates. At every level of Nazi Germany, there were adulterers, there were drug addicts, there were pedophiles, there were idiots, at every level. And even a cursory investigation into the operation of their government reveals this. The fascism does not bring the cream to the crop, okay? It just doesn't. So Nazis really like it when non-Nazis mistakenly attribute this grim, efficient, steely righteousness, like you know, like the idea that Nazis are like these rigid, ideologically, steadfast beings of pure evil. They love that shit. They love it. Nazis love being portrayed like the bad guys like that. You know, it's like how cops like propaganda depicting them as like RoboCop. Even though RoboCop was an explicit criticism of police brutality, but police still like to see themselves being represented that way because they like being the cool bad guy. The best way to depict Nazis is to show them is what they are, which is ridiculous and self-defeating, which is what Jojo Rabbit did, which I liked. And hey, you know what? Nothing makes misogyny look more self-defeating than seeing stuff like this, huh? Holy shit. I love it. It's pretty good, huh? I love you too. Don't forget the anti-Semitism vid by Rose Wrist relevant part. What do you mean, don't forget? 452. This is the 48-minute thing. What is this? 452? What is this?
Yeah, Vaush. Sorry, Vaush.
All right, we got
Whenever we're talking about the bad side of Vaush, we'll call him Vaush. Vaush
Fair.
has had some interesting takes in the past, and even on Israel and Palestine, some interesting takes. So in this clip right here, the first clip that I sent you, this one was from a little
Hamas
bit
is not a
ago.
good
It was when he
organization.
was talking about Sargon of Akkad. And essentially, he says that he endorses most of what Hamas does. This was, again,
I remember
in
that.
early 2020. But there is a clarifying clip later on where he sort of half rescinds the statement and then continues to say, I can't blame Hamas for wanting to destroy all of Israel, which
Wait, hold on. This is a highly half-informed perspective in what I had to say. But what would you call it? Misleading? Yeah. What would this be? Like, are we trying to determine some sort of broader pattern of anti-Semitism or something?
kind of not really a rescinding of his previous statements, considering he's, again, making not an explanation, rather excuses. Because an explanation makes sense. Hamas exists for a very good reason. They came to power because of the mistreatment of Palestinian citizens by
I'll take a look at that shortly.
the Israeli government. But that doesn't mean that their aims are necessarily good, right?
Yep. So I will play these two. I assume the link is
shit that people in the
So these
Does
are just
anyone
like
else think
older
that's-
takes of mine? Is it just the Hamas thing? Wait, what is this thing? Here's a newer clip. Let's see if this is more interesting. Group. But even Hamas has said that they would support a two-state solution, something Israel is unwilling to back. Even the terrorists of the Palestinians are more amicable to compromise than the organized government elected by the Israeli people. Of course, everything I'm saying is highly, highly nuanced, way more complicated than I'm giving it justification here. But I want you all to understand, at Vosh, you know the Hamas would not settle for peace. And we have a lot of people with really strong opinions on the extent to which both groups are sincere in their attempts to push for peace. This streamable clip is labeled Vosh criticizes Hamas and then justifies their goals to destroy Israel 20 seconds later. What? Hamas supported a two-state solution as a transitional state for them taking over all of Palestine, though. Israel never should have been built there, buddy. You really blame Hamas for saying they want to reclaim land that 70 years ago belonged to their people? The point is, in the immediate moment, right now, they're more amicable to that position than Israel is. That's not to say they don't do bad things. That's not to say they're not a terrorist organization. Israel is the group with the power to amend the situation, and they choose not to. Polls done amongst Israeli civilians show, and I'm being charitable here, a very harsh attitude towards the Palestinian people. Vosh, they would kill all Jews if they could. Israelis would not. I strongly disagree with your perspective, but I know that if I start arguing with Zionists in chat, we're going to go on this forever. Let's focus back on the particular situation we're looking at.
Again, I want you to identify the actual problem with these two videos, rather than
What's the
sort of
problem?
just let it play itself, because there is a lot of conflation going on there. But essentially, in the first clip, he says he supports Hamas, which is an outright anti-Semitic organization. I mean, you cannot deny that. And then in the second clip, he says that, yeah, I mean, they do some bad stuff, but still, they're probably better than Israel. And again,
That isn't what I said. Okay, yeah, I don't care about this criticism. That's not what I said at all. This is so what's happening here. This is the type of conflation that is typically used to defend the destruction of peoples, okay? This is exactly what the United States did with Native Americans, by the way, okay? Were there Native American raiding parties that would kill, like, American citizens? Yeah. But if you focus on that exclusively and then use them as the framing point against which you will justify all of the expansionist moves, like westward, then you can justify literally anything. Yeah, of course. You conquered Palestine. You sent people out of their land. Terrorist groups will form. That always happens in times of great, massive civil strife. For Christ's sake, we have white nationalist terrorist groups in America right now, and nothing's even happening to white people. What white people in America didn't even need anything to happen for them to decide to start forming white nationalist terrorist groups, okay? They just did it for fun, all right? So yeah, obviously shit like Hamas is going to happen. The point isn't that Hamas is morally right. The point is that they're not the arbiters with the ability to determine the interactions between Palestine and Israel. Israel is a nuclear-powered country backed by the United States. It's infinitely more power than Palestine. All you have to do is take a look at Google Maps photos of the cities in either way, on either side of their concentration camp deport borders, and you can see which side has more power. Israel is the one with the power to change anything there. Simple as that. But if you could justify anything if you keep going that way. Oh, well, Hamas would destroy everyone if they could. Okay, then disempower Hamas. You know how you do that? By not fucking bombing Gaza 24/7, okay? The only reason Hamas exists and has any power is A, because Netanyahu and other far-right Israeli organizations want it to exist, and B, because the Palestinian people are in a position where they legitimately believe that organizations like Hamas are the only power they have against the threat of ongoing genocide, you know? Like, from the Palestinian perspective, they are literally fighting a war for their existence, and unfortunately, that's not necessarily untrue. They kind of are. Hamas doesn't make that situation any better, but when you put people against the wall like that, yeah, they're going to default to bad shit. But, like, I don't think it's anti-Semitic to point that out. Just, like, Israel has to take a different approach to this, you know? Didn't you just say terrorist groups will exist regardless of justification? Oh, yeah, but the more justification you give them, the more will exist. The only point that I'm making is that the existence of Hamas isn't like a special moral demarcation against the Palestinian people. It's not like they specifically are the ones who are, you know, morally faulted enough. No, Praxata, we already watched that. Shut up. All right, close that, close that. You all get what I mean, right? You all get what I mean. I think we're doing a debate about all this with a pro-Israeli organization soon. We'll see how that goes on. I'm currently emailing the guy Sam had on to talk about reparations to see if they want to come on here. The guy who came on to Sam Cedar's show isn't wrong about reparations. He's wrong about everything. That guy called me a white nationalist. He's not. He's a whole other. He's several degrees away from the correct position here. When is the Sargon debate? There is no Sargon debate at the moment. You aren't? Wait, I aren't what? That's not who I'm talking about, you dumbass. Who are you talking about? What? What are any of us talking about? What the fuck are any of us talking about? I have no idea what any of us are talking about. All right, we need a chat reset. Stop. Here. Get distracted. The left will eat the left over this. Is this it, folks? Has Ben Shapiro finally found the issue that will compel the left to do something it has never done before? Self-consume? Auto-cannibalize? Perhaps.
During slavery, post-slavery, we want to make sure that we are not doing anything that would further create a barrier for residents.
Get ready, gang, because that is going to be the left's line, and it's going to be fun to watch the left eat the left. And the truth is that the...
Wait, hold on. Is Ben okay? That was a bit of a Kubrick stare, wasn't it? That was... Ben, you're spooking me a little bit. Look at...
And the truth is
Look at that.
the lack of understanding of basic human behavior by the media is pretty astonishing. And the willingness to believe the myth that the only people who are not vaccinating at this point are kooky Fox News watchers. That's also really weird. We'll get to that in just 1 second because there is one, it's the clip of the day. Okay, it is from a Boston mayor. Her name is Kim Janey. Okay, she's the black interim mayor because she took the place of somebody who joined the Biden administration. And this black Democratic mayor of Boston is saying things about vaccine mandates that are significantly wilder than anything Republicans are saying, but I don't see Joe Biden attacking her.
Hit me up.
And there's a reason for that, and it's openly political. Now, you may have noticed that Joe Biden is attacking Ron DeSantis and Greg Abbott and only Republican governors, but
Hasn't Ron DeSantis... So first of all, Ron DeSantis, I'm pretty sure, would actually start building death camps if he was president, and he's one of the front runners for the next presidential race. Hasn't his approval plummeted recently now that Florida is literally being torn apart by COVID, like more so than it was before? Ron DeSantis approval. That's the governor of Florida. Yeah, Ron DeSantis' approval tanks as COVID Delta variant ravages Florida. Yikes! His approval rating tumbled to 43.7% in a new poll published on Wednesday. Well, where was it? So the disapproval is now 48.3%. Oh, and in May, his approval was 55%. Wow. It dropped by nearly 12 percentage points. That is pretty significant. Yikes. How's, hold on. How are we doing, Florida? Oh, no. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, man. Some of these day averages, or these new cases, look. Oh, my God. And it's still going up. Yikes. That's not good. Florida's one of the worst states for COVID. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Whew. Good luck out there.
What's weird is that there are some Democrats who are pretty darned hesitant about things like vaccine mandates and vaccine passports. One of those people is the...
What? Okay, so just to get ahead of the narrative that Ben Shapiro is trying to push here, that Democrats are being partisan and pretending that only Republicans are anti-vax, just a second. Approval of vaccines by political party. All right, Pew Research, help me out. Politico. The partisan divide. Come on, give me some data here. Here we go. Oh, okay, this actually points to what Ben Shapiro is saying. Percent who say they are unsure or who will not take the COVID-19 vaccine. Wait, this is from February 25th. Can somebody find me a more recent poll? White Dems are super likely to take it, and white GOP are quite unlikely to take it. And black and Hispanic demographics are in the midline between the two. Let me see if I can find some more recent polling. Can we, when is this from? This is... Okay, here we go. This is from July. Here we go. This is good enough. Whites and Republicans dominate the definitely not getting the vaccine group, while wait and see is disproportionately black and Hispanic. So for definitely not get the vaccine, Democrats represent just 18%, whereas Republicans represent 58%, which is a pretty wild distinction there. Yikers. And on average, white people are by far the most likely to definitely not get the vaccine because they represent the vast majority of the Republican Party. Yeah, more data to confirm that. One of the trends that you will definitely see, however, is that black and Hispanic populations are not as likely to be willing to get the vaccine as, like, white Democrats. And there's a reason for that, and I'll talk about that soon.
Current mayor of Boston, a woman named Kim Janey. She, of course, took over for the former mayor, Marty Walsh, who left to become Secretary of Labor under Joe Biden. She is currently running for a full term. And Kim Janey, she got pretty damn spicy about all of this. She got very, very angry, I think rightly so, about some of the vaccine mandate stuff. But she's using language that is very, I mean, when I say spicy, I'm talking about, like, she took out, like, the full package of pepper and just...
She said the N-word. I mean, she called Biden the arse-slur. You know, man, I was quivering in my boots when I saw this little segment of hers. Let me tell you, I didn't even know some of these slurs. There was anti-Semitism in there. I got caught in the crossfire.
Tossed it right on top of this. Here was Kim Janey, the mayor of Boston, a hardcore Democrat.
She called Biden a cracker.
There's a long history in this country of people needing to show their papers during slavery, post-slavery, as recent as, you know, what an immigrant population has to go through here. We heard Trump with the birth certificate nonsense. Here, we want to make sure that we are not doing anything that would further create a barrier for residents.
Okay, and this is my favorite. She says,
wait, that's it? Wait, that's spicy? Wait, Ben is like, listen, okay? If you've got a heart condition, you need to turn down the volume on this clip, okay? Because this is getting wild up in here. Is it spicy because it's a black woman saying it? I don't know. Like, where is it coming from?
anything that would further create a barrier for residents of Boston or disproportionately impact BIPOC communities. BIPOC communities are people of color. Okay.
I have never heard it pronounced BIPOC, by the way. That is new to me. I've never heard that, but you go off, Ben.
So she's now comparing vaccine passports to slavery.
Wow. Ben, that is a level of critical analysis that I would expect from a literal toddler. Oh my God. She wasn't comparing it to slavery. She was just talking about the history of expecting documentation from people. She would say the same thing about the voter ID laws you want to put in place. She's not comparing the act to slavery. She's only saying there's a history of requiring documentation from minorities. What?
And that's what she's doing. And she's also saying that it disproportionately impacts black people. That's
That is
kind
true.
of an amazing statement. I don't see Joe Biden going after her. Right? Where is Joe Biden? Why isn't he saying, you need to get out of the way? Either do the right thing or get out of the way. Weird.
Because Joe Biden isn't going after every single mayor who's ever said anything disagreeable about a vaccine mandate. He's going after the federal politicians and the media moguls who are saying that sort of stuff. Also, he's mostly going after people who are anti-vaccine. She isn't anti-vaccine, she's anti-vaccine mandate. This is so many levels below the type of stuff he normally goes after. This would be like if Ben Shapiro like went out in the street and he found like one black trans woman who was like, yeah, I don't know if I want the vaccine. And Ben looks into the camera and he's like, what is Biden's answer to this, huh? I thought it was only Republicans who had a problem with vaccines. Well, let's see if he's brave enough to respond to this. Like, it's a mayor, and it's a mayor talking about the potential harm of a mandate, not a federal politician talking about the harm of the vaccine overall. In fact, to my memory, and I'm actually asking, has Biden ever come after a politician for having concerns with a vaccine mandate? Hasn't Biden largely criticized broadly people who are just anti-vaccine in general? I genuinely do not remember if Biden has ever attacked a person for being anti-vaccine mandate. So this is what the left is going to eat itself over? Seriously? This is pretty bad, Ben. Ben, I can browse Twitter for 30 minutes and find stuff that will divide the left more than this.
Very little from the Biden administration about how do you convince the disproportionate number of black people who have not gotten vaccinated to get vaccinated. And it's good. I've said before, I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch Bill de Blasio. And now they're talking about doing this in LA, by the way. Watch Bill de Blasio try.
Yeah, I divide the left more than this. That should have been the Ben segment. The left will eat the left over this. And then he just shows my face, you know? He just shows me like smiling at the camera or something. And he's like, it's going to be fun watching the left eat the left over this. Content creator Vaush recently debated compatriot Charlie Kirk, and oh boy, the left is mad. Like, if he brought me, first of all, this video would have more views if my name was in the title. First of all, okay? Second of all, it would be more true to the existing title, okay? Ben, I'm just saying, it's a content opportunity, okay?
Ban some 70% of black people from being able to go to restaurants. Because that's what the vaccine passport does. 70% of black people in New York City are not vaccinated.
Really?
By far the highest rate of non-vaccination among any demographic group in New York City. So what happens when suddenly black people can't go to restaurants and can't go to gyms and can't go to indoor?
No, you can say X to doubt. That actually is possible. Hold on. New York City vaccinations by race. Demographic data, COVID-19.health.New York. Let's see. Wow. Is this real? Huh? So, for African Americans in New York, about 1.1 million have at least one vaccine dose, but 2.8 million are above the age of 15. That's a ratio of, that'd be about what, 35%? Something like that? For white people, it's above 50%, more like 55 to 60%. For Asian people, wow. For Asian people, it's almost 100%. And for Hispanic people, it looks like it's in the ballpark of 60%, more or less. There is a reason for this, by the way. Why, though? Black people don't trust doctors as much as other racial groups. Serious, that's it. See, if you're black and you grew up in this country, you have probably, by your parents, been regaled with a great many stories of how historically and contemporarily black people have been subjugated to an awful lot of mistreatment from the medical system. Yeah, John Oliver did do an episode on this, if I recall correctly, and I'd worth looking into. So people are right now citing the Tuskegee syphilis experiment. It's if you took a look at the data that I presented earlier, you might have seen that black people overwhelmingly fit in the wait and see category for vaccines. It's not that they're ideologically opposed to getting them. It's that they're distrustful. And while this isn't my field of expertise, and there are probably a ton of things that I would leave out if I tried to be, comprehensive in talking about this, historically, the medical institutions in this country have really, really mistreated the black population, and contemporarily, there are still issues. For example, it is widely assumed that black people have a higher pain tolerance than non-black people. I don't know why, but there are a lot of people who just treat it that way. Black people are less likely to get painkillers because it's treated like they just wanted to get high or whatever, opiates, the rate of childbirth mortality for black people in America is like twice that for white people. Yeah, birth mortality, which is insane, There are a ton of things that go into this, and some of it is like sort of institutionalized medical practice. A lot of it is just bias on the behalf of doctors who tend to be pretty old, so they might be a little bit behind on this. And also just historically, black people have the medical institutions in this country have been, hold on, really quickly, I want to take a brief aside from Thoughtlessness D1. Hey, are going to mute me again, pieces of shit. You have spammed the same message in chat like 24 times, and you're getting muted because the auto-detect mutes you, okay? I've seen your message. I've seen it, in fact, 24 times. I appreciate your contribution, but the bot is muting you, not me. You can even see, when you get muted, it says for repeating the same text. It's no one doing it deliberately, but I thank you for the clarification. I appreciate it. Just informing you, just letting you know, okay? I do see what people say in chat. I just can't always respond. Anyway, so there is a degree of hesitancy. Now, this does mean that if vaccinations are made mandatory, black people are going to get disproportionately hurt by that. Now, there are some Republicans who say, wow, aren't you doing exactly what you say we're going to do with voter ID laws? That by implementing a necessary requirement before participating in essential civic functions, you're disproportionately targeting black people? And to that, I have an answer. What's the answer, chat? One of you has already gotten it, but I want to see more of you get it. Vaccines are free. That's it. Vaccines are free. You can get them for free. If vaccines cost a single human being dollar, I would not advocate for vaccine requirements. But they do not. They cost 0 human dollars. On the other hand, getting identification in this country, for some reason, costs money. I don't know why. But you have to travel to get them. That is true. You do have to take time. Though, to be fair, you don't have to take time off work. Voting, like, you have to get in a line and you have to wait. Right now, at least where I am and a lot of other places that my friends and family are, you can just go to a local, like, pharmacy. It's like 2 seconds, you know? Like, you literally just go there and then you do it again 2 weeks later and that's it. I mean, it's like pretty immediate. I mean, I'll say this. It has been made about as easy as it can be made, you know? Also, here's another counter-argument. There is a reason that people should be made to get vaccines. We need it to stop the global contagion. Why do people need voter IDs to vote? There has never been any proof of voter fraud. Ever. It has never been provided. Despite hundreds of millions of votes being counted in the past election and millions of dollars being spent in investigations at every level to find voter fraud, it's not happening. It's just not. It just doesn't happen. Our system works fine, you know? So those are the two key arguments. The difference between mandating voter ID for voting and mandating vaccines for stuff generally. The first is that vaccines are free, and the second is that there is a need for vaccines, whereas there is not a need for voter ID because there isn't any proof of voter fraud. You all on board? We get that? Okay, let's go.
Spaces, can't go to a Yankee game. How does he think that's going to work out for him? The entire Democratic Party has forwarded the lie that disparate impact means that discrimination has taken place. So I could easily say something like, well, you know what? If it's a neutral rule, then whether it disproportionately impacts one group of people or not really makes no difference. It's a neutral rule, right? But Democrats don't have that foot to stand on. They can't say that. If Democrats were to acknowledge that personal behavior is responsible for its own consequences, then they couldn't make the case that they are constantly making about America's evil racism, which they're always blaming for every disparity in American life, from wealth and income inequality to single motherhood to drug abuse. Right? They're constantly attempting to chalk up every disparity in American life to systemic racism. So
he is, of course, correct in this regard. He just thinks it's incorrect. Yeah. Between large population groups, disparate outcomes has to be evidence of one of two things, or both. Disparate environments or disparate genetics. Those are the only two things that can affect people's behavior. Genetics and environment. That's it. Nature and nurture. So if you're like me, and you believe that black people are genetically on par with us with regards to intelligence and ability to participate in society, it must be an environmental difference. And it's not exactly hard to imagine that environmental differences for black people have been cultivated in such a way as to disadvantage them.
How do they run away from this one exactly? That's what I find so amusing here. When Kim Janey says that any policy that disproportionately impacts BIPOC communities must, of course, be discriminatory.
I hate that. BIPOC.
And she's talking about vaccine passports. Get ready, gang, because that is going to be the left's line, and it's going to be fun to watch the left eat the left. I hope you enjoyed that clip from the...
I'm still mad that we didn't get anything spicy. No wonder he had to play this clip up so much. This was like the most measured, level-headed... Am I reaching a little bit if I say that it almost feels a little bit racist? Like, this is spicy? Because this was like a totally well-reasoned, moderately spoken point of view, you know? I don't know. I mean, it could be... I can't prove that already. It's just weird, you know? Like... Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. It's probably it might not be that. I don't know. Not that Ben Shapiro has a particularly good track record with convincing me and everybody else that he isn't racist. You really should read his book sometime. If you can find a PDF to torrent online or something. Those oh god. Or you know what? Much as I disagree with some of the stuff that they say, go watch the Chapo Trap House video where they read segments from his book. Oh my god. Oh my god. It is unbelievable. It is incredible. Now that was spicy. That was good. Ben literally did the same thing with his sassy SJW attacks Ben video. That person was also a black woman, and it was literally more mild even than this one. Yeah. It is a common thing that is done to ascribe spiciness, you know, to people of color, especially women of color. I think when they talk, women of color get so much shit whenever they disagree with anyone. Dude, I would hate to be a black woman just because anytime I got angry over anything, people would get so fucking patronizing about it. Oh my God. I could not imagine having to deal with that, you know? Anytime, like just even the mild frustration, and people are like, oh, the angry black woman. Like, oh, fuck you, you know? Whew. You would not have an online career if you were a black woman, Lamau? Oh God, no. I would have been, they would have taken me down by now. However, there are a few things I've been canceled for, and you know which, that I wouldn't have been canceled for if I was a black woman. Think about it. Think about it. True. True. Oh God, I would have been real tactical. Okay, stop. Somebody in chat said, Anna Kasparian is a fan of mine. The feeling is mutual. Did Anna say something? Excuse me, following the Charlie Kirk Tim Pool debate? Was there like a video or a segment or something? She shouted you out the other day. If anyone has a video segment, I'd like to see it. I have very, very, very little what you might call institutional legitimacy, and I'll cling on to every bit of it that I can find, okay? Ben Shapiro is the king of the hover hand. This is good. I like this. Look at this Chad Sigma male hover hand monogamous king. Look at this woman respecter. I love this. This isn't the hover hand, okay? This is the orbital flight path hand, all right? That's pretty good. I like that. I like how in every one, too, he makes sure to keep his spine perfectly straight so they lean into him and not the other way around. That's very, very good. Do the line thing? Well, Ben Shapiro is winning here. Look, his line is perfectly straight. Does he do that to men as well? With men, he probably shakes their hand or something, right? Because it's less, I don't know, gay or whatever. This is stamped for Anna and Emma. Okay, I'll take a look in a second. Yes, the Virgin Hoverhand Shapiro versus the Chad Grip Waist Sanders. True! Absolutely. When you take a picture with Bernie Sanders, okay, you make sure to wear a weight belt beforehand, because that fucker is going to grip your obliques and crush them as he brings you in for the photo shoot, okay? Men, woman, it doesn't matter. It's not sexual. He just fucking like a black hole. He just absorbs everything and everyone around him. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. What if Ben is asexual? Oh God, if Ben turned out to be asexual, there would be a moral crisis on the left. Because then people would start talking about if it was problematic to do the whole doctor wife wet pussy jokes, you know? Does he have kids? Wait, I actually don't. Does Ben have children? I don't actually. He does? Okay. Yeah. Anna TYT shouted you out at the end of the TYT main show after your debate 1 hour 45 minutes in. I think somebody gave me the clip. No, this isn't the. This is from an earlier thing. The main show, the day after your debate. I'll take a look. Like I said, I scramble for any institutional legitimacy I can find. Where is the main show the day after? The day after would be somewhere right here. When did I debate? On the 3rd? So it would be on the 4th, probably. Is it unlisted? It's probably unlisted in a separate. No. Or would I? Where would I find that? The TYT main show becomes available for free viewers a bit later. Ah, gotcha. Dude, I need to activate the YouTube membership program so only YouTube members can watch my stream VODs after they're done for like the first week. That'd get you fuckers to watch my videos. Yeah. That'd get you guys to watch my monetized videos instead of my unmonetized YouTube VODs. Can you do that? Yeah, I can. YouTube has been asking me to do it for 1.5 years. I just haven't because I like you guys. Gotcha, Mr. Cosmo. I'll have to take a look at it later. This might be 1984. Maybe. So I'm not going to be able to find this? Okay, gotcha.
It's like he's so scared of Sam that he's monitoring your show to make sure that he doesn't get like, you know, ambushed or
ambushed. And so yeah, I mean, that was what, and we said, like, no, there's no way. I mean, because he said my wife had an emergent, or his dad, I'm sorry, said, you know, that she had an emergency with her pregnancy, but we'll reschedule it for next week. It's like a little weird when like something dire could be happening. But Ethan goes, I think he's watching and saw that your show ended early. And Sam was like, there's no way. I mean, we were like, maybe.
Oh my
maybe.
God.
So the next week, the next Monday, he rescheduled it for noon Eastern, which is when our show starts. We come in all the way early and pre-record and...
Why am I watching this? I've already seen this.
Nathan wants the double barrel gun show. Nathan, it's a little early today. Okay, I got that out of the way.
Hey, I'm not a hypocrite. He's been working out lately. I'm proud of him, okay? I'm proud of... No. Oh, wait. I wasn't showing the video. I'm sorry. I forgot.
Nathan wants the double barrel gun show. Nathan, it's a little early today. Okay. I got that.
No, he's been working out, you know? I think that's respectable. And I like the earnestness with which he does it, too. He doesn't just, like, casually pop one, you know? He's like, yeah, you know? Like, that's pretty good. I like that. Rachel, Ben Shapiro flexing vids. Wait. Oh my God. 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 No way. Let's go. No way.
It's about when you do that and there's like muscles there. Nobody cares about that.
And the oh, okay. Tricep flex. Somebody asked me the tricep, so you get a little bit of side shot of the tricep right there.
Yes. Yes.
Gun show or nuke show? You decide. I don't even know what a nuke show would be. What the hell is a nuke show?
Legs?
Okay, the gun show we'll just do. Okay, here we go. Let's just do this thing.
Yeah, Ben, looking good, man. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. And unlike Chris Cuomo, I didn't get those guns from... Here's the obligatory gun show. You guys asked for it, and thus it is.
He's so proud of himself.
Gun show this time. Okay, James says, hey, Ben, can your gay fans get a special shout-out? You have a lot more than you'd think. Hello, gay fans.
Oh God. Your mic clips when I laugh. I don't know. I don't care. Shut up. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, we got the studio.
Gun show. Well, it's hard. I've got the long sleeves on today. Like it's not as
roll them up. All right. Roll them up.
How about this? How about single gun show?
Yes, he's so
this is
proud.
A lot of effort for I can't even fit. Look at this. Just I can't even fit over my bicep here. Just too much brawn.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
that's
get it,
Hold
Ben.
on. You get one gun today. I'm not up for. This is the pledge that we make to Daily Wire subscribers that there will be an awkward gun
two
show
guns
sometime in here. So, all
Oh,
right, we'll
it's,
do it this
it's
way.
one, but now it's
It ain't the
two.
greatest gun show in the world.
Oh.
I can't even get it over the biceps. Just too big. All right, that's enough of that.
I want to make it perfectly clear, by the way. I need to make this perfectly and absolutely clear that none of what I am doing right now is meant to be interpreted as derision. I think this is wonderful. I think this is phenomenal. And I am proud of Ben Shapiro's growth. Literally, his growth.
Sheila wants the gun show. Well, you know, it's been a while, so I suppose you are owed.
Oh, the light's going good for him here.
Purple Rain says, I see why they want gun control. Ben is ripped. Oh, man, you have no idea.
This is amazing. This is my favorite channel on YouTube now. This is my favorite channel. Give us the gun show. Dude, I'm fat. My gun show isn't shit. My arms are probably bigger than Ben's, but, like, there's no definition. Yeah, I got, like... See? But I'm also much taller than him, so, you know? I haven't worked out in, like, 6 years. I do calisthenics. I do crunches. Sub and smash the bell. I'm subbing. I'm smashing the bell. All notifications. Hit me up. Ben Shapiro Silhouette Challenge. Hit me up. Okay, that's slightly terrifying. Is that a TikTok meme? That's probably a TikTok meme, right? Oh, Shu! Shu, are you seeing this? Shu, this is incredible. This whole channel.
He says, Ben, can you please gun show while smirking for a good photo op? Okay, let's do this thing and get it over with.
Oh, get it over with. Like, oh, Ben! Get it over with. Like, he's not delighted to have an opportunity to do this every single time. Ben, you are killing me, man! Ben, you're looking good! This is probably the first time I've seen Ben Shapiro enjoying himself. Unironically, though, Ben Shapiro is such a slimy little weasel politically, but he's clearly actually proud of his, like, of his workouts, and the sincerity is unironically, like, really refreshing from a person who spews bullshit 24/7. It's actually really kind of nice, you know? Ben Shapiro's singing a tune.
Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You can't just throw out lyrics like that.
He's better than I am. I don't know. Yeah. He's better than I am. I can't hate. Ben Shapiro flirting via bicep.
Sarah, I already gave the gun show. I can't give the gun show every 5 seconds.
Yes, you can.
What do you want from me, Sarah? Oh. The gun show all day long.
Oh.
Come on.
I'm gonna chew my hand off. Oh my god, that was hard to watch. Oh. What are the comments on that one? What is the audience for this? I just turned gay. I'm already gay. The Ben glow up.
Well, now there you know.
Okay, the person who's making all of these is like a 16-year-old TikToker, right? That's the vibe that I'm getting from this.
Fangirl, you didn't miss a gun show. All right, we'll do it early on. Let's get it out of the way.
Get it out of the way, you know. Oh.
It's all over.
Just remember, okay? Whenever a person
Fangirl,
is popping the flex, okay, and you can see their hand quiver a little bit, they're giving it their all. See? That means they're giving it their all. It's not a casual flex, okay? They're trying as hard as they can. You know?
Gun show, Andy? We're going that early gun show? Like getting on this thing
that
early.
peak is good, though. That peak. Look at that. That's a good...
Early. Okay, there you go. You get half the gun show.
I'd like to believe that, he's had a conversation with his wife about all this, you know?
John says I should start an OnlyFans. Well, Bella Thorne made like $2 million in a day from doing that. I just don't think that me flexing my my biceps is really, or my triceps is really going to make anything happen monetarily speaking. Also, I'm not a hooker.
That's not what a hooker is, Ben. That's who uses the term hooker anymore? Ben is more of a whore to corporate interest than any streetwalker could be. But that being said, this one has no views because all the gays who follow this YouTube channel don't want to see him with his wife. They're cute. Aw. Hey, stop! Don't you copyright me. Oh, I think that's really cute. Man, the few seconds where Ben Shapiro was talking about OnlyFans before he did the hooker joke that was the most sincerity I've ever seen from him, you know? Do we have any other killer ones here? Let me see. These videos are also short and to the point. I respect it. Ben Shapiro is hot. Yeah, hit it. Oh.
Conservative, I just signed up because I think you're... Ariel says, hey, Ben, I'm not even a conservative. I just signed up because I think you're hot. Well, I hope that I can make a better case for conservatism than my good looks. I mean, let's be real. God really emptied the jar when it came to good looks on me. He was just like, boom, and it's like... But still, I hope that you stay for the politics.
When I see, man, there's just such a jarring distinction between the insincerity of his political program and the apparent sincerity of him just talking to people. Vosh, you do the same thing? Yeah! When he talks like this, it makes me think I could have a fun conversation with him. Yeah, you know? Oh, man. I have to have him on and just talk with, like, workout tips with him. Gotta ask him how he built those peaks. Oh, God. It's so good. This is why the left will lose. Well, we have we have Hassan. So it just in terms of brazen muscular himbo energy, we are pretty safe at the moment. Though hasn't Hassan stopped working out like for a while? Maybe I'll catch up. Who knows? No, he started again? Uh-oh. Gotta work harder. Ben is actually a decent singer, too. Yeah, didn't he, like, go to school for music or something? Or he was, like, good at violin or something? I don't know. When will you look like this? I already look like this. I can't show it. As a shirtless guy, I don't know what Twitch's rules are on that. He hurt his back, Vosh. Yeah, I saw that on Twitter. That sucks. That is very... very cringe and not good. That's not good. James from Modern Day Debate has himbo energy. Well, himbo means dumb, right? He doesn't come via himbo energy, but he's huge. He's very, very muscular and taller than I am too. It's a little bit off subject, but do you think David Pacman would mind if I looked at his Mike Lindell interview? Do you think he'd be upset with me? He wouldn't be upset with me, would he? I don't think he wouldn't be mad at me, I don't think.
All right, today we're going to be speaking with Mike Lindell. Mike Lindell will be a familiar face and name to many.
Oh, wait, hold on 1 second. Hold on. I'm back. All right. Well supplied. Michael Lindell was on CNN yesterday freaking out too. That one was pretty good. I don't doubt it.
In our audience, CEO and inventor of My Pillow. Mike, I really appreciate the opportunity to chat with you today.
Thanks for having me on.
Of course. So listen, you first came to my attention. I first became aware of you.
I'm a little shocked Mike Lindell would come on Pac-Man Show. Yeah, seriously. It's wild. I don't even think, what is Mike Lindell even doing these days? Isn't he like, I don't even know what he's doing these days, you know? Is he in a lawsuit? I don't know. Is he in trouble? I don't even know. Is he getting sued? Yeah, he's getting sued, I think.
At the start of the pandemic, Donald Trump held this event at the White House and announced, here are some business people that are going to be doing things to help us. You were going to be, if I recall correctly, making masks and maybe even some other things. How did you first come to meet Donald Trump and that relationship start?
Well, it was the summer of 2016. He invited me to Trump Tower. It was August 15, 2016. It was a private meeting.
Oh, yeah. Why isn't Pac-Man getting criticized for platforming the far right here? That's the real question. Why am I the only one who gets this? Why? Honestly.
I went in there. It was about 35 minutes, just him and I walked out of there, and I come from a past of addiction and stuff. I didn't think politics affected anything, but I did walk out of his office and said, he's going to be the greatest president ever. If he's with all the things we talked about, My Pillow being made in the USA. I said I was going to have a platform at which I do, the LindellRecoveryNetwork.org, which helps addicts. And he said, I'm going to stop the drugs pouring in. And we just had this back and forth, and I went to
He's going to be the greatest president in the history of the USA. We talked about my business? What?
I went to his employees afterwards, and I asked them, I kind of did my due diligence. I'm going, is this real? I mean, the only agenda he had was to help our country and to help people. And that's what and they all said, yes, he's amazing boss, amazing man. And they all had a personal story about him. And then, boy, I got back to Minnesota, and I did a press release, and you didn't think I shot someone. They attacked me and called me a racist and called me everything. And all I did was say I had a meeting with Donald Trump. I was running for president.
And now to be perfectly clear, and it should be known, this man is absolutely bonkers. Okay, this dude is completely, 100%. Absolutely and unequivocally bonkers, okay? I know he used to be a drug addict. I don't think that excuses his political views now. He is just lost. And apparently he had a freak out on CNN today. Isn't that true? Somebody linked that earlier. Was that today? Or at least it was in the past 24 hours? He had a big old freak out. Yeah, this video from August 6, 2021, which is today. Would a freak out Pac-Man? No, Mike Lindell. I don't know what a David Pac-Man freak out would ever look like. He's a pretty... David Pac-Man's pretty emotionally controlled guy, you know? Please play. Yeah, I want to see.
My Pillow CEO
Hello.
Mike Lindell continues to claim he has evidence that China hacked U.S. voting systems.
Does this guy age? Just out of curiosity, because I'm just not seeing the evidence.
And switch votes for the former president to Biden votes. In a moment, you'll hear what 24 election officials and cyber experts contacted by CNN say about those claims. Lindell is not backing down even as he faces a lawsuit from voting machine maker Dominion alleging he's defamed the company with his false accusations, and Lindell's company is countersuing. CNN's Drew Griffin went to Minnesota to talk to Lindell about his claims that threaten democracy. Here's
This is going to be an extremely confused segment when I upload it. However, I absolutely loathe the idea that Vosh is as tall as I am. I need to be able to look down on him. He needs to be at least a head shorter than me. But I can take comfort in the fact that I am, almost certainly, far more built than he is. Who cares, baby short kings for life? No shame if you're short. But I dream of bullying Vosh, and I would prefer to do so from a height advantage. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. I'll have to take your word for it, as no one has ever toppled me. Why are people like this? Why?
Drew's report.
The My Pillow guy.
Mike Lindell, yes, the My Pillow guy is convinced
China hacked the election, Donald Trump really won, and Lindell has the absolute proof.
They did it in all the states, every
And they
single state.
changed the votes.
Every single state.
And you have the proof.
Yes. That
will show
I have the whole
the
data.
actual exchange of votes.
Yep. 100%. 100%.
It is, of course, complete nonsense. Despite every piece of so-called evidence Lindell has presented so far, 3 videos, a lawsuit, screenshots he sent to CNN, there's still no proof that the election was hacked, and that's according to 24 cyber experts and election officials contacted by CNN.
100% evidence.
When Lindell released his so-called evidence, in videos like this, fact-checkers quickly found out it was evidence of nothing. These images are just publicly available voter data, scrolling across the screen, not proof of election hacking.
Might as well have just put like the Matrix fucking number scroll going down, you know? Like, we've hacked into the database. Here's the, and it's just literally like just RBG values and shit, like people flowing down, fucking lava lamps in the background.
So Lindell changed his story, saying now the real evidence will be revealed at a cyber symposium, streamed live with MyPillow discounts available throughout. And as further proof, he sent CNN a preview, 6 different screenshots.
You sent us this on Friday.
Yeah.
What is this?
That's just one piece of 1.2 billion lines of data from the election. Okay.
What?
There's within that will be timestamps of when it happened. There'll be flips in there.
So we sent this to our own experts. He said that it doesn't show any specific actions of any kind, election related or not.
Yeah, we showed these screenshots to our expert, and he said, and I quote, "What? What is this? This is just numbers. Is this a joke? You're paying me for this. What am I even supposed to do? There's nothing here to look at." Do you have any response to these claims?
And it's proof of nothing.
Okay, so he said that's nothing, huh? Well, he's wrong. Then you didn't hire a cyber expert.
We didn't consult just one cyber expert. We consulted 9 top election security experts who told us Lindell.
The audacity on this guy is like, sir, this is not election data. This is just an extremely long CVS receipt. And Mike Lindell looks him in the eye and he's like, guess you hired the wrong guy to analyze it.
Lindell's screenshots were extremely rudimentary metadata and completely ridiculous. We also
That's
reached
what
all
I said
15
they'd say.
officials from the 15 counties where Lindell says, without any proof, votes were hacked and switched. Lindell mentions some of the counties in his videos and lists them out in his counter lawsuit against Dominion Voting. They are counties that use paper ballots counted by systems not connected to the internet. Every one of them told CNN there is no evidence they were hacked by anyone.
You identified 15 counties where the votes were switched. We contacted all 15 counties, red and blue. Red and blue.
That doesn't matter.
And we couldn't find a single person that said this is even possible. They say, are you mistaken?
Right.
They think you're wrong.
Right.
The bottom line is they have paper ballot backups
That's
that
good.
prove that they were not.
So you guys went and they let you audit?
Do you feel bad for this guy? He's off his fucking rocker. I mean, wasn't Hitler like a meth addict or something? I can only take my sympathies so far. This guy perpetuates a lot of misinfo. Also, he's getting sued into oblivion right now, right? By Dominion? Right? That is who's suing him, right? Yeah, Dominion threatened a bunch of people with slander, and they actually went after Mike Lindell. Yeah.
There, they let you do a full audit, CNN? You guys did a full audit on 15 counties, huh?
We did what Lindell did not do. We went to Delta County, Michigan to see how the election was carried out. Trump won here. Nearly.
How would you even falsify that? This is the thing. Like, how would you even falsify this? Go down into a county office while carrying a stack of papers. Does this mean anything to you? And it's just like, it's just, you know, when you try to open the wrong program in like a text app and it just shows a bunch of random strings of numbers and letters. Like, does this indicate any corruption to you? Does this mean anything to you? And they're like, what they should have done, I think what they should have done, CNN should have taken those screenshots, faked their own, and then handed them back to Mike Lindell and said, so we're here. what am I supposed to be looking at, you know? Like, just replaced it with a bunch of, like, 4chan green texts, you know? Even if it's legible text or something, I don't think Mike Lindell would have noticed. Mike Lindell is battling ghosts every time he turns his head, okay? He's got wizard eyes. Every time he looks around, he's looking at it completely... He wouldn't notice, okay? He wouldn't notice the difference.
2-1.
The state, Michigan, entry point owner, Delta County.
In his videos and his lawsuit, Lindell claims someone in China hacked the election system here and stole away precisely 3,215 Trump votes and turned them into Biden votes.
What does that
mean? Republican
mean?
County Clerk Nancy Przrocki finds the allegation laughable for one main reason.
It is never connected to the internet.
Never.
Never connected to the internet at all whatsoever.
No, they physically sent Chinese special ops agents into this bumfuck nowhere county and stole that exact amount of ballots, and then used whiteout and a marker to change them. Ah, shit. What is this? Oh, I saw this. The truth is out there, okay? The truth is out there. What is this?
One goal, okay? To cultivate a larger following.
Oh, this is the Hassan bit when he talked about the Kirk debate. Yeah, I saw that.
Not only are they not connected to the internet, the votes are cast by hand on paper. Voters scan their ballots into this Dominion scanning machine where 2 digital storage cards keep a tally. The paper ballot goes right into this bin under lock and seal.
And that container is sealed.
And just to check that everything went okay, they conduct audits, comparing the paper ballots to the results on the computer. And in 2020, it was an exact match.
We audited 3 different precincts and they matched exactly. So
what would you say to somebody who made a documentary that, among many counties, accused your county of being the victim of a Chinese hack that changed the vote counts?
I would say that didn't happen in Delta County.
A Republican-led Michigan State Senate investigation found out it didn't happen anywhere. No evidence of widespread or systematic fraud.
I don't think you really understand how votes are cast, collected, and tabulated.
That's how it is, right? That's the real criticism. It's not like, does he even know he's lying? I legitimately do not know if Mike knows that he's lying. He might just have, like, a super far-right, like, Trumper, like, confidant who just will say anything to him and Mike Lindell will believe it. Like, he could just be provided, like, a list of documents and the guy's like, yeah, dude, this proves that, like, I don't know, like, Stalin rigged the election for Biden or something, I don't know. And then Mike Lindell will run around, like, defending that with his life.
In this country.
Okay, you know what? I do. But what you don't understand is they can get, after they're tabulated, they can get hacked after the fact, which they were, because Donald Trump was going to win anyway. Donald Trump was going to win anyway.
The paper ballots
you
which
didn't
were
do an
cast
audit to match them up, though.
Were audited against the machine
No, they weren't.
count.
No, they weren't.
In these counties,
no,
they
they
were,
weren't. No, they weren't. Who told you that?
The county officials.
Oh,
who
did they tell
it.
you that? Well, they're going to have some answering to do.
No matter who says there was no widespread fraud in the election, whether it's local election officials, secretaries of state.
We gave your documents to our cybersecurity experts and they didn't find anything. Oh, they tell you that, did they? They tell you that? Yeah, and we went down to the county offices and we checked all the ballot counts against the digital tallies based on an audit. Oh, they told you that, did they? Yeah, oh, they told you that? Like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, they did. They told me a couple things, actually.
Judges, or even Donald Trump's own attorney general, Mike Lindell's conclusion is the same. They are all wrong.
All these county officials are lying?
I don't know. They might be misconstrued. We'll say misconstrued because they don't realize what happened.
Lindell says his information comes from multiple sources, all of them super secret. He claims he spent millions on the project and also claims he will give $5 million to anyone who proves him wrong.
Mike,
This is a very common tactic to boost the legitimacy of your bullshit conspiracy claims, by the way, because they'll never admit when you prove them wrong. Like, the CNN guy just proved him wrong, but he's like, oh yeah, well, no, so it doesn't mean anything, you know?
make up anything.
Who can? No, you can't. This is where. This is
just going to have a demonstration.
No. This is where you're wrong. We're giving it to We're giving it to the cyber people that show up. We're going to give them each state. Here's a state, Georgia. They can take it apart.
You could possibly be the victim of a scam here.
Well, then why don't you come to the symposium and make $5 million? Are you worried about me? We should give a hug. You're worried about Mike? Oh, God bless you.
Here's what we're worried about. We're worried that what you are doing is mistakenly or deliberately destroying the confidence in the legitimate elected president of the United States and fostering what could be real damage
I never
to
said
this
anything
country.
bad about Biden or the Democrats.
You
Never.
have through this investigation.
I have not. You pull it up.
and
You're
this-
lying now. You're lying.
Mike,
I said
listen
the
to what I
Democrats
said.
warned us. No, you're lying. I
No,
said the
you're
Democrat
saying that-
Party
you're
warned us of
saying
this.
that
And this will be a
Joseph
great.
Biden was illegitimately elected.
I'm saying that China did an attack on our country
And that the wrong person won.
That's right.
The people who have watched your video believe what you say.
100%.
If you're wrong, isn't that very dangerous?
But yes, but I'm not wrong. I've checked it out. I've spent millions. You need to trust me and come there.
It is a little bit sad, isn't it? I mean, he's pretty far gone.
Yeah, I trust him. Drew Griffin joins us now. Do you have any reason to believe that now, after months of this, I mean, he has never offered proof of anything, and there is no proof, and it's been debunked. It's like his support for sham remedies. I mean, he has a history.
All right, I don't care about the CNN stuff. I care about Mike. Oh, yeah, David Pakman. What are we up to?
You, at that event at the White House that I mentioned at the start of the pandemic, you said that Donald Trump was, quote, chosen by God. How did God reveal to you that he had chosen Trump?
Well, it was a bunch of divine appointments for me. I had a dream in the spring of 2015 that I'd be meeting Donald Trump, and I'm going, why would I want to meet Donald Trump? And all of a sudden, he comes down the escalator running for president. Then I had, in my book, I explain all this. I actually went to the National Prayer Breakfast in early 2016, and when Ben Carlson was still running for office, and I was picked out of 12 people out of the whole prayer breakfast with thousands there to pray with Ben Carlson in a room, and just these things kept happening to me, and it was like building up, and I'm going, this all has to mean something, and it wouldn't mean that I just end up going golfing with Donald Trump or something, and there was so many divine appointments that led up to that, and then I just it was something different, something that, because I had met him, I just know this had to, all these things that happen. I look at to know that God exists. I use mathematics and say, if you have a 1 in a million happen, or a 1 in a billion, or this thing happens that could never happen, when do you add them together and consider a miracle?
Stuff like this is why I'm an anti-theist, by the way, man. I know there are plenty of sane religious people, but holy fuck, sometimes it's such a legitimizing system for, like, unironic mental illness. I feel Mike Lindell's brain is literally the same as, like, a Homo sapien shaman 20,000 years ago, you know? Mike Lindell is the person who, like, makes people do the dance because last time the rain happened after the dance, okay? That's where we're at, you know?
And that's what kept happening to me, and he's been picked, he has been chosen for such a time as this.
Wow, so if I hear you correctly, you're saying what others might see as odds and probability, you see as divine appointment.
Absolutely, because if you look at it, especially when there's more than one, and then there's confirmations of that.
Wow.
Here's a guy for me being just an ex-addict from Minnesota, a guy, very functioning addict, growing up again. And here I end up in the White House. I'll tell you an example. So I end up in the White House at a roundtable event. I never thought I could come within 100 yards of the White House with my path.
I see.
I see. And here I end up in the White House. I said, "Who's sitting here?" And they go, "The president." There's like 15 of us in the room. First time I was ever in the White House, and they do that. We go on national TV. Then it's just him and I facing forward. and it went viral, that screenshot, and all my friends are going, what is this ex-crack addict sitting next to the President of the United States? Jesus.
Do you think he would apply this logic to all of the down and out, like, black athletes and civil rights activists who Obama invited to the White House back during his time? Like, you know, all the people who are down on their luck, but like they got invited. Like he wouldn't look at that and think like, oh my God, it's divine appointment that God would put them with. Probably not. I feel like for guys like this, I mean, the existence of the supernatural is literally just something to give supernatural importance to things that they think are important. It's not enough that it's special to him that he goes from being like an addict to being sitting next to the president. It has to be like something God willed. It's really, 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 what would you call it? I don't know. Self-important?
This is real because this could not happen.
This makes no sense, right? In other words, it's almost like Mike Lindell, pillow guy, being at the White House makes such little sense. It must be divine intervention.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's, you know, it's just like when I spoke at the Rose Garden there, when I went there, and we did start making masks. I had got a letter from the White House saying, would you come in and, because we had started making masks. We were one of the first ones, I believe, in the country. And we get there and he's going to have us all speak from the Rose Garden, and you have to have pre-approved remarks. And if I told you the whole story, I mean, it's just, it's divine how everything went down. Even me sitting in the front row was things that couldn't happen. That was
dude, I need to get an interview going some of these days. You know what would really suck though? If I ever managed to get something like this going on my channel, you guys would get mad at me because I wasn't epically owning him with facts and logic. Mike Lindell is not the sort of person you bring on to debate, okay? It's the kind of person you bring on to just like sit and quietly watch, you know?
Series of events happened there where I ended up being the only one on stage with him, and then asked him if I could say something off the cuff and flip this paper over, and then spoke out about reading our Bibles, getting back in the Word, and it you know, if you'd think there, I mean, that was heard around the world. I did 109 interviews in 5 days.
Well, Mike, listen. There's so many things I want to ask you about. Let me do a few that are sort of like shorter things. One is in terms of states that were given to Joe Biden that you believe Donald Trump won. What is how extensive is that list?
It's huge, and it's absolutely huge. And not that I believe, I know he won, because we have all the packet captures and the data from the whole election.
We'll get to that.
Minnesota, New Hampshire, all the swing states we talk about, Nevada, Georgia, Michigan, Wisconsin, Arizona, Pennsylvania.
Wow.
And I mean,
fuck. I feel like I'm just ripping content right now because all I really have to say to his delusional shit is wow. But like, he keeps saying it before me. I don't even know what to say. I'm not adding anything to this. I'm completely lost. I'm ripping. I'm just ripping right now. I'm a React Andy. I can't, guys, we can't do it. I'll React Andy CNN, but not David Pacman, a YouTuber. YouTubers got to stick out for each other, okay? Even though he's 5 times my size. Where's the, are there any, like, segments? This is the full thing, I think. Mike Lindell and I agree on something. Give me that.
You, at that event at the White House that I mentioned at the start of the pandemic, you said that Donald Trump was, quote, chosen by God. How did God reveal to you?
We saw this bit. All right. Now we know. Why is this bit highlighted? Turn zucchini into fudgy brownies. I don't like zucchini. Okay. Godspeed, people. Godspeed. It's really good. No, it's good to bake with? Maybe. Maybe, I don't know. Watch it now, Vosh. No, we've ripped enough content. Thank you. Anyway, yeah, Mike Lindell. It's just, it is always astonishing to me, the more I look into this stuff, the more I watch it, and the more obvious it becomes that so much of what goes on from the right is honest to God mental illness. Like, so much of it goes beyond conniving, malicious political dishonesty and turns into just outright divorce from reality. And that's really weird because, like, you can't actually fight that, you know? I mean, you can push back against it, but I can't convince them. Like, I could never convince Mike Lindell of anything. Ever. I could never convince Mike Lindell of anything. Mike Lindell brushes his teeth every night, but does it as ritual. And he probably thinks fairies actually keep the teeth clean while he's asleep. You know? He doesn't believe in toothpaste. He just does it because he was taught to. Like, I don't know. I don't even know what the that's not a cool statement. It's just conspiracy and magical thinking. I've said this before, but past a certain point politically, mental illness and political conspiracism become completely indistinguishable, you know? They are indistinguishable. They don't it just completely and absolutely impossible to distinguish between the two, you know? Which is pretty wild, you know? Not good at all. And we should probably do something about that, you know? We should probably not have that. Yeah, I don't know. Fuck. Fund mental health services. What would that do for Mike Lindell? Damn, the mod's coming down hard. Oh my god. Oh, the person who was spamming weirdly earlier about how the German military was actually super efficient ended up being a Nazi. Nice. Or maybe, I don't know, pretending to be. Whatever. Crazy. How about we read some donations, huh? That seems like a reasonable thing that a responsible YouTuber would do. You know, that seems like a fun, cool, crazy, wacky kind of YouTuber fun thing to crazy maybe do. Possibly. Perhaps. Oh, and just a reminder, by the way, if you're watching the stream and you're enjoying it, you should subscribe to it. You loser. You should sub too. And also, if you want, you know, I can't make you, but if you want to, you should also subscribe to the Vosh Pit. Because the Vosh Pit is doing real good right now. It's doing very, very, very good. Seriously, some of the view counts on these videos are starting to get up to the main channel region. What the hell? 50K, 70K, 70K, 40K, 50K for creepypasta? Okay. It's going pretty well. What's the content on the pit? A little bit more informal. Still fun stuff, all from the stream. If you're watching the stream, then it's going to be stuff that you would have seen anyway, but... Excuse me. The views on the main channel have dipped a bit, though. They've held in the dip for about a month now. There are cycles up and down. Stuff like that happens. I can... Ah! My lip balm. There we go. Debate and politically provoke, please. No, chill. Don't spam. Hold on. Let me see. It's faster to check on my phone. Damn, dude. In terms of the view count, oh my god. It's like 100,000 a day over there. That is awesome. I love that from me. Donos. Temp account 20. Thank you for the very kind 20 bucks. Why does he have a painted version of the poster for the Passion of the Christ with just a random lion slapped on top of it? Feels weird, man. Aren't lions like a Christ allegory? A little bit? Wasn't that like Aslan from The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe? They're like Christ animals or something? I don't know why that happened, but isn't it kind of weird? Because like Jesus Christ was like a really moderate, calm dude, but lions are the bloodthirsty kings of the jungle. You know? I don't know. The Shocker and Sonny James, thank you for the $5 both. Really appreciate that. No, I didn't see that. The 187th Sane. Oh my god. Thank you so much for the incredibly kind $100. I really, really appreciate that. Jesus Christ. Stay off cocaine, kiddos. Don't become Mike. It is true. that hard drugs can often do bad things to your brain. You know, that is true, and you should be careful about that. You know, that is my opinion on that. Thank you so much for the incredibly kind $100. I really, really appreciate that. Will you ever have another channel that puts out your gaming VODs? Probably not. Vibrant Pico, thank you for the $5. Yeah, let Ben Shapiro inspire you to work out. Super Luminous, thank you for the $5. I didn't skip your last dono. I just haven't read any donos yet from today. Spider of Doom, thank you for the very kind $10. The Ben Shapiro gay fans are definitely into a submissive and breedable twunk frame. Oh, for sure. Gino the Stray, thank you for the tier 1 sub. Really appreciate that. Boy Meets Mini, thank you for the gifted tier 2 sub. I really appreciate that. Two of my right-wing car buddies finally admitted they don't like Charlie Kirk anymore thanks to you rolling him. Progress. Nice. That's awesome. I really, really appreciate that. Appreciate you telling me that. Tell them I say hi. The Indigenous Hulk, thanks to the tier 1 sub. Give us the gun, so Vosh. I already did. Fuck you. Icy Hot Stunta and Luxy, thank you for the $5 both. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Markinator with the $5. Mel didn't like your photo with Tim Pool and Charlie Kirk. Yeah, people are going to cancel me over that. Yeah, Mel says this corny AF. And to be fair, that is completely true. This is actually the most agreeable thing that Mel has ever said. Oh, whoops. Not the full thing. There you go. I can't disagree with it, you know? What the fuck? You're so small? I'm 6'2". Charlie Kirk is 6'4". Crooked, thank you for the very kind tier 4 sub. I really appreciate that. Great job on the Kirk/Pool debate. Your mother and I are proud of you. All leftists should learn the psychology of fascism, menticide. Thank you very much. Thanks, Mom. I appreciate that. Opto Plays and Matthew H, thank you for the $5 both. I really, really appreciate that. Sonny James, thank you for the very kind $10. Look, I do empathize with the hesitancy because people are afraid of slippery slopes. Will they go to the social credit score, etc.? I mean, the mainstream media has lied repeatedly, and I'm scheduled to get vaxxed, so I'm not AV. I think the thing that really bothers me about the Democratic response to the vaccines is that they weren't really honest from the get-go. That and COVID, you know? The line changes so much, you know? It's always, oh, we'll be over it by this point. Oh, get the vaccine, you won't have to wear a mask anymore. Oh, once you do this, we'll be fine. Oh, this, oh, that. They keep baiting out and giving people false hope. Their answer should have been the same from the beginning. Listen, going through a tough time right now. I can't guarantee anything, but I do know that we will get over this faster if we wear our masks and keep our vaccines. And for the most part, they're stuck on that messaging, but every once in a while, they fuck it up and they do something stupid. Like Biden saying that you are not getting sick if you get the vaccine. You know? Which is just... that's pretty irresponsible. I mean, I don't think it's like horrible, deliberate vaccine misinfo, but it's definitely not a smart thing to do. Rocard and Colbias, thank you for the tier 1 subs. Comrade Jeff with the tier 2 sub, thank you very, very much. Offline chat, thanks to the 669. Gold in women's heptathlon and men's hockey yesterday. Let's go Belgium. Pog. Sake Tanuki, thank you for the $10. No linkers, no memes. No, I'm afraid we're getting plenty of linkers in chat, sadly. Panopticon, thank you for the very kind tier 4 sub. I really appreciate that. Haven't heard you laugh this much in a while. Did the trip to DC give you new perspectives or insight? Also just joined DSA North Carolina Triangle Chap. Excited to organize. Nice! That is awesome. I'm really happy to hear that. Getting involved. In terms of new perspectives or insights, I wouldn't say new perspective or insight. I am, however, happy to have it over with. I don't like flying. I don't like travel. I'm happy that we can be past that, I guess, you know? But yeah, that's about it, really. I just don't like travel. It's, you know, it's a harrowing process. God. Got distracted by Reddit. Kowalski from Nebraska, thank you for the very kind $5. Yes, subscribe to Sub Prairie Fire for farm stuff. True. Glad you got my shirt. I'll take a look at Insta later. Far Eastern Myth, thank you for the very kind $10. Really appreciate that. A brief, soundless, but labeled clip of you on Tim Pool's show appeared on a video of different types of government on the Mr. Beat channel, a normie educator. Really? Under what context would that be the right clip to play? Every type of government explained by Mr. Beat. Huh, well, that's nice. It's 18 minutes, so I'm probably not going to find myself in there without some serious digging, but I'm happy to be repped. Still Alive and a Welsh Socialist, thank you for the $5 both. Congratulations on buying a house, a Welsh Socialist. And Still Alive, thank you for the 5. I have not seen the debate between Lance and Lauren Southern, I'm afraid. I have no rating to provide. Josh95, thanks for the Tier 2 sub. Barely a Team, thank you for the Tier 1 sub. Check out Conservative Barely a Team on Spotify or YouTube. I'll check my email. Cadser, thank you for the 3 gifted Tier 1 subs, and Money Eater with the Tier 1 sub. Thank you very, very much. We're getting near the end, folks. Don't worry. Ingy Bingy 2K and Sake Tanuki, thank you for the very kind $10 both. I really, really appreciate that. JLP is so far out there, he did an appearance with crazy Christian Kent Hovind and had to repeatedly explain to a bewildered JLP that he does indeed love and respect his wife. Yes, that is out there for good fucking content. Absolutely. Very true, Sake. Very true. Sonny James with the incredibly kind $50 donation. Thank you very, very much. An honest critique is that the mainstream media left does seem to align itself with Fabian socialists to their detriment. In short, a few wealthy elites redistribute to the masses. I don't think adopting the term alt-left hurts. It doesn't hurt the right, IMO, Trump, e.g. I don't know what you mean by Fabian socialist. What does that mean? What is that? What is a Fabian socialist? Chat? Like a few short wealthy elites redistribute to the masses? I'm not sure what you mean by that. The closest thing that I would think of that you might be able to call the alt left would be like the Jimmy Dore types, you know? But I don't even think that's appropriate. Fabian Society are British socialists. British socialists advance the principles of DemSoc via gradualist and reformist efforts in democracy. Does the Democratic Party associate with reformist socialists? I'm afraid I'm not that up on this particular thing. Manny J and Gidge Eichelboom, thank you for the 5 both. Did I contact Logan Paul? No, I have not contacted Logan Paul. Build a Dog, thank you for the very kind $15. Sorry I questioned your autism once. It was giga cringe. Also, is there any hope of defeating fascism, or are we completely fucked? We're not completely fucked. There are ebbs and flows to these sorts of things. I've talked about this before. Our biggest worry has to be the climate crisis and all the political problems it would enable. But all the same, I accept your apology. No worries. Evolved Monkey, thank you for the 5 Canadian. A Bashful Trader with the Tier 1 sub, thank you very, very much. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Tyler with the Tier 1 sub, White People Happy True. Opto Plays, thank you for the $5. Joe Rogan says an article he read said vaccine could make COVID stronger in his new YouTube clip. Joshua Asokathan, thank you for the 5 Canadian. Are you going to cover the debate between Lance and Lauren Southern? Probably at some point, but probably not today. How long is it? It would take me like most of a stream to look through it. But I'd be fine to give my critiques. Starek, thank you for the $5. It's 2 hours? Yeah, then I need a whole stream for it. Been printing and painting some Necron terrain. Pog. Oh shit, this looks awesome. Nice airbrushing. I assume this is airbrushing. Or something meant to simulate the effect. Mustache Mahoney, thank you for the very kind $10. Thank you. I try to be a reasonably okay beta. Tino Bazer, thank you for the $5. All of Hungary opposition are trying to put one candidate against Orban, from socialists to the far right. Really? They're all uniting? The Power Rangers. Coming together. I guess they don't like Orban. Huh. Bricklayer with the 2 gifted Tier 1 subs. Thank you very, very much. Ben Shapiro calling this take spicy. He probably thinks mayo is spicy. Also this. Oh yeah, I responded to this on Twitter. This is pretty funny. This is, by the way, though, this is actually true at the time that it was tweeted. 6 years ago, anti-vax sentiments were largely nonpartisan. Seriously. There were crazy anti-vax hippies on the left and crazy anti-vax, like, prepper types on the right. But it was a pretty ambivalent thing. Now, of course, this is overwhelmingly, like, aligned with the right. He was right back then. It's funny how things have moved, though. Sir Doug Ratman, thank you for the $2. I have not seen Lauren Chen's take on the Activision Blizzard thing, no. And Safari Monkey, thank you for the $10. Done very well in the debate. Most comments I saw respected how you came across, even if they disagreed with you. I see that as a huge win. Yeah, I'm really happy with how it went. I tried my best to come off as reasonable to the type of people who would be looking for an excuse to disregard what I had to say. Guys. We have a bit of a problem. I'm super hungry. Fuck! I'm super hungry and there's some stuff that I have to get done. Guys, this is going to be the last of the short streams. Tomorrow, we'll do a full stream tomorrow night, okay? So I know. No. Okay, you know what? I'll accept it. This is my fault. Just at me for like 30 seconds. Come on. Just come on. Just come on. I know. I know the streams have been shorter. I know the streams have been fewer. I know. I'm sorry. Maybe my nerves are still a little frazzled from the travel and the staying up overnight thing. I know. Literally just eat more than a bagel for breakfast, but I can't. I'm dieting. I have to be careful. All right. No, it's fair. It's fair. You can be mad at me. That is totally fair. Well, look, at the beginning of tomorrow's stream, we'll go over the Nazi trial and we'll go over the Tucker Carlson bit and then we'll play some games, okay? Doesn't that sound fun? Come on. It's all very thematically cohesive. We're talking about the 100-year-old Nazi trial, then Tucker Carlson, Nazi adjacent, and then we're playing Metro, where one of the factions you fight are Nazis. This is the whole, it's a through line. And that's good, at least, you know? Well, let's see how we're going to host. Come on. How about Lumi? How about Lumi Roo? We haven't hosted Lumi in a while. Right, Lumi Roo. There you go. Yeah. Good positive vibes. Anyway, I love you all very much. I'm sorry for the short streams. I'll get back on it soon. I love you. Take care. Be nice to Lumi, obviously. And I will see all of you tomorrow. Okay? Take care.